Hello artists, it is so good to see you today. I hope your St. Basil's Cathedrals turned out so cool. I know I had so much fun making mine out of all the rectangles and shapes and little onion tops, or I like to call them Hershey Kiss tops because while I love onions, Hershey Kisses, come on, they're so good. All right, well, today is the fun part. We're going to add some color to that, and I brought two different ways for us to make color because you're probably at home and you might not have art supplies there. And the art supply stores are closed. But there's other ways to make color. When I was a kid, I used to take onions. Speaking of onion top buildings, we used to take the red onions, and when my mom would cook with them, I would take the peelings off and the outer layer, and we'd boil them in water, and it made a really pretty purple dye. We could boil other vegetables and make dyes, and we also used to dye our Easter eggs that way sometimes. That was a really fun way. But today, I'm going to explore some other ways to make some paint at home with what you have in your kitchen. And I'm going to tell you a secret. I've never done this before, but I went in my spice cabinet before I came to the studio today, and I found Chinese five spice, and it is a beautiful brownish color. I found paprika, smoked paprika. That's a beautiful red-brown color. That is actually very close to the red clay bricks in the not the Taj Mahal, silly me, in St. Basil's Cathedral. You know how they said that the bottom was made of white stone and the top they used their traditional red clay brick. Well, it looked just like paprika, so I'm hoping that if we mix it with a little water, that will make a good color for that. I found some cinnamon, which is kind of a brownish red. Look at this one, artists. This is called turmeric. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Look what a gorgeous golden sunshine yellow that is. Oh, that's ground turmeric as well. And that one, it's kind of funny. This one's more orange than the other one. This is ground cumin, and that's kind of a golden brown. I found some oregano, ground oregano. That is a greenish neutral. This is called mustard, ground mustard, and it's kind of a light yellow. And what's this guy over here? Ground rosemary leaves. It's kind of a sage, or not quite. It's kind of a brownish green. So I thought we could get some nice colors out of our spice cabinet. Then I said, I want some bright colors too. So I went to where we keep the food coloring. And this is your traditional liquid food coloring. I've got greens and blues. These are more commonly found these days, called gel food colorings. So I got some tubes of those. And you know, sometimes gel food colorings comes in these little cups. So we're going to be taking those, and you can use any kind of little dishes you have. I have little paper cups here. I'm going to be mixing some of our paint colors in here. And I'm going to try mixing it just with water. And then I'm also going to put in just a drop of white glue to kind of give it something to bind with or stick with. There's also something you can put that's called alum, A-L-U-M, and that is sometimes in your spice cabinet. They use it a lot when they're dyeing fabric to make the dye bind to the fabric. So if you have some of that, you can try that as well. But I'm going to keep it simple. Most of us have a little white glue around the house somewhere, or wood glue out in the garage. Wood glue's great. I use it when I run out of white glue. I use wood glue a lot. It works great. And I actually started using it because I like to bind my papers and my drawings to wood blocks. And so I'll take an old credit card and spread wood glue out and bind that on there. And then I take a little sandpaper around the edges. That's a great thing to do. Maybe we'll try that one day. Anyway, I get distracted, you guys. So I will meet you back, and I'm going to put the camera up top so you can look down at what I'm doing, and because I still haven't found the other camera. And we're going to start mixing up some paint colors, and then we're going to paint our St. Basil's Cathedral. Now, if you have a paintbrush, great. If you don't, I went to the medicine cabinet and found some Q-tips, and I found some fingernail polish remover or makeup cotton pad things, so you can use those as well. All right, I'll see you in 2 shakes. All right, I'm back. Let's get going. You can see that I grabbed a little glue and I put just a little dollop in some of these little cups. And that's really, I think, all we're gonna need. Just a little bitty dollop. We can always add some more if we think we need it. Now, let's start with the turmeric, because of all these spices, I am most excited about how beautiful this yellow is. So I'm just gonna pour a little in there. Let's see if that's enough. We don't need much, guys. A little bit of water. Let's pour just a little bit of water in there. And let's see if that is enough. If we stir that around, what's gonna happen? Can you guys see down in my little cup? Ooh, I'll tell you what, it's looking good. Look at that. What a pretty color. Oh, you guys, I'm in love with that color. Ooh, I think this just might work. That is looking beautiful. I'm giving it a really good stir, artists, because we don't want it to be coming apart or having big globs, although globs can be fun sometimes. I think that's squishy enough. Really, we're just gonna kind of see what we think. Nobody's gonna be telling us, hey, that's ugly or that's not good. We're the judge of that. Oh, I got a lot. What was that? Oregano. I'm going for kind of a greenish look. You know, I got so much in there. Let's see if we put a little water in there, what that one's gonna do. Oop, I got a lot of water in that one too. All right, guys, I kind of got too much. I'm gonna pour a little off over here. I'll pour a little more off. I can always add it back if I need it. And let's start stirring. Oh, that's a pretty color too. I like that one. It's kind of greenish. That one's not blending up as nicely. It's a little bit clumpier. I'm having to work it a little harder. So what I think I'm gonna do, because I got a little bit too much water in that one, although I'll tell you what, artists, I'm liking that color a lot. You know what? Art is a lot of experimentation, and that is the best thing about it. You are always trying. I'm gonna put a little more. You're always trying to learn new things, new ways to do things. You know, so many things have been tried and done in this world, but we're always looking for a new way to go about it. And art is also one of the best ways to learn to try and fail and try and fail and try and halfway succeed. Maybe you get part of it right and part of it you don't like, so you go back and you try again, and you learn so much with all the experimentation that happens in art. Now, because I got so much water and extra spice in that one, do you see how I thought I'm experimenting just like we talked about? I want to thicken it up a little bit, so I added a little bit of glue there. Oh, I like that's feeling a little bit creamier. Like I told you, I have no idea what I'm doing, guys. This is new to me, but look at those two pretty colors we have so far. All right, let's see which one's gonna be next. Paprika. I love paprika. This is smoked paprika. It's a little easier if you've got it on the shaky instead of the pour. I think that's where we got so much of this oregano a minute ago. Let's put the lid back on that bad boy. All right. And let's try to control my water this time, guys. Boop. Let's see if that does a good job. I think I got a little bit better. Now, I'm not rinsing my brush in between because really we're just having a little bit of the color and it's not really hurting anything, I don't think. Look how that oregano is already separating a little bit because it's not blending in totally, but it's giving us a nice color. I think it'll still be good. All right, I'm loving that color. Look at that one. But I knew paprika was going to be beautiful before I even pulled it out of the spice cabinet today because it's just one of my favorite colors. Isn't that pretty? I'm just kind of swirling off the excess on the edge there. Remember, we could be using a Q-tip. If you don't have a paintbrush, that'll work too. Let's try, should we make one more out of spices? We've got a nice arrangement of color there. Well, let's try a little cumin maybe. Cumin is kind of a brownish yellow. Let's get a little of that in there. Can you guys see that? Let's tap a little bit more cumin in there. Come on, cumin. Woo, got a lot. That smells great. Oh, actually, I'm going to use some of this water from before because it's kind of similar color, and then I might have a clean cup there in a minute. But cumin is used when I cook. Oh, there I went, got too much again. I'm going to pour a little off in here this time. Cumin is used when you are cooking some Mexican dishes or chili. I make chili a lot. I love chili, and I always put cumin in that. Whether I'm making white chicken chili or if I'm making the kind with hamburger meat or steak in it, I always put a little cumin in there. Let's see if that helps to thicken that one up. Look at that. We've got a different color here with this one too. Now I'm going to swirl. It's more of a tan color, isn't it? Kind of like a khaki color. Look at that. That's pretty. Ooh, and it's kind of speckled because it's not going to absorb it all the way in, you know, like become a total blend. It's kind of still a mixture. It's not melting into the water. It's just floating through the water. And it's giving us a nice color though. You know what else I want to do with this pretty green? I want to put a little bit more glue in it and stir it one more time before we start painting with that. Just to see if we can get it mixed up a little bit more and have it be a little bit creamier like the others. Okay. You guys can speed this part up if you want, or it might help you to see kind of how thick we're getting. It's not real drippy and runny. Look at our 4 colors. I'm going to put them right here in the middle so you can see. Look how that turmeric stained my table too. Yellow is very strong color in that. Mustard can sometimes stain things as well. So again, just get some spices out of your spice cabinet and make some little mixtures. All right, before we get on to painting our St. Basil's cathedral, I thought we might, let's move these little guys over, make some bright colors now. So let's see what else, how many of these I brought. Looks like I brought 4. That's plenty, because what we'll do then is I'll make a few different ways. So I'm going to take a little of the blue gel so we can see how the different kinds of food coloring work, because let's face it, we know that these are going to mix well with water. Let's see what these do. A little bit of gel, just a tiny little squirt. And now let's see with some orange. Oh, he hasn't even been opened. Let's see if, oh, purple. I don't have purple anywhere else. Let's see if Mr. Purple's open. He is. Look how old he is. You guys, I don't bake a lot. I'm not a baker. My sister is the baker in our family. She always bakes. But I don't, and it's just as well because I like to eat sweets too much, so it's good that I don't bake too much. I'm going to put some of the, actually that's kind of blue, isn't it? It's a bluish purple. Let's see. All right, that looks good. Let's see now if we add just a little drop of water. Let's see what that does. Ooh, you guys, that's pretty. Look at that. Now, the more water you add, the lighter your color is going to be. The less water you add, the darker, just like when you use watercolor paints. When you want to get a light blue or a light green when you're using watercolors, you just add more water, right? Well, that's going to work too here for our food coloring paints. Now let's see if this blue is different. It looks a little bit like it's got a little more green in it. Oh, it looks more turquoise, you guys. You all know what that means. Turquoise is my favorite color. Look how pretty that one is. Ooh, and it's lighter because you can see I added a little more water. Plus, I think it was a little thinner. And I don't know if it was thinner because it comes thinner in those gel tubes, or if it was thinner because this is really old and kind of dried up a little bit. So who knows? But I like the choices that we have. Let's make some red. All right, I'll make red out of this liquid one because we know that's easy. Let's put a few drops right there. And let's put a little drop of water. Ooh, that's pretty. Now, if you are in my studio, sometimes you know I love to use liquid watercolors. They're the liquidy you don't have to use them in the watercolor tray. You guys remember we just put them in cups if you ever have me, and that works great. Well, I'm looking here at St. Basil's Cathedral, and I'm thinking our last color should be a little green. So let's put a few little drops right there because they have some green in theirs. And let's put a little bit of water. And what do you think? I think we've got some beautiful colors just right out of our kitchen, don't we? All right, I'm excited. Let's push our, oh, we still have one glue cup, but we don't need him. Let's push our spice ones on this side. And let's push our food coloring friends on this side. And then let's push our paper right down in the middle, and let's get to the fun part, guys. Let's start painting. I'm excited. That looks great. And now I can reach all my colors. Okay, what are we gonna paint first? Okay, I think first I'm going to paint the building. So let's get a little of our paprika paint that we made, and let's paint some of our red brick parts. And remember, that was this parts of these. Now it's a little chunky, but you know what it's doing, guys? You know how brick on your house, brick has texture, right? So you look at it and it's got mortar between the cracks, and it looks kind of bumpy in places. So I think this paprika looks a lot like real brick because it's got all that texture. Hey, I like this. I've never painted with spices. It's spicy. I know, I'm corny. My kids, if they were here, they'd be rolling their eyes at me, guys. Well, they're probably rolling their eyes at me at home anyway, just thinking about me, because they like to make fun of their mama. Do you guys make fun of your mama sometimes? Some of the silly things that she says? Or your grandma's? Boy, my granddad used to make the funniest things. He used to always say things like I was wanting a knuckle sandwich or something silly. He was always joking around. That guy he was from Texas, and he used to wear cowboy boots all the time. And can I tell you, boys and girls, he even wore cowboy boots with his pajamas. He was a funny guy. He really was. Granddaddy Houston. Do your grandparents do anything funny? Or your aunts and uncles, or your babysitters or caregivers, or whoever you live with? Are there some really funny things that go on sometimes in your house that just make you guys all giggle? Yep, we do. My brother's pretty silly too. All right, look how this is looking. I'm liking it. I'm just trying to get real careful in those little spots. All right, I'm going to put a little bit more of this color right here. How's yours looking? You can pause me and catch up on making your paints, or you can watch the whole thing and then go make some paints in your kitchen and paint yours in a minute. All right, this is looking fun. I'm going to try to go fast so I don't make you bored. You guys are welcome to speed this part along if you want. I'm going to put some more of that color right there. I can't remember what color this, I think this was the white stone part, wasn't it? Let's see. It is definitely lighter down there, so let's use this one. This spice. What was this spice, guys? Do you remember, artists? I don't remember now. You gonna forgive me? I'll look it up in a minute for you. Oh, that looks good. Look at that. I believe that was our mustard. I remember now. That was our mustard, I think, because our turmeric was much more yellow than our mustard, our dried mustard. I think that's what it was. Gosh, I might have to rewind and go listen. Oh, wait, but you can do that, right? Okay, this looks great. And again, it has some texture as well, doesn't it? Like a stone has texture. All right, that's looking good. Now, this was a little statue in front, and it was kind of green. So I'm going to see what our oregano, that's the one that's not sticking together as well. Ah, but it paints just fine. Look at it. That's a pretty green. Holy cow, I want to use it over here too. I like that green. Ooh. You know what? Oh, guys, I just thought of a good idea. I'm going to put the green. I was going to do food coloring in the bushes, but I'm going to put the green here down in the bushes. Do you artists remember me teaching you about a wet on wet technique when I taught you that if you put wet watercolor down and then you drop another color in it, it travels and it mingles together? Well, I'm going to see what happens if I do wet on wet food coloring on top of my oregano bushes here. So let's see. I've got oregano in my bushes, and let's see if this green food coloring will travel. Oh, look, it is just like watercolor paint. Do you see how it's traveling? So I'm going to kind of drop that around. I'm going to use a little bit of fresh water too, so I get some lights and darks. And look how that travels around. Oh, guys, I'm digging it. Oh, here's some. It's a little brighter if I dip right into the paint. I called it paint. It is paint, isn't it? We can make paint out of anything. But it's actually food coloring. So there we go. Now, back in the old days, a long time ago, when artists had to make their own paints, you couldn't just go out and buy their paints. And they made them out of all kinds of things. So I bet they were constantly experimenting and seeing what they could do. All right, I like the little green dots in my bushes. What do you guys think? I'm going to put some darker ones down here at the bottom. Remember how we talked about this thicker line grounded our picture because it was heavy and it made it look like it was, well, it had substance, like it could actually sit on the ground. So I'm going in with a little bit more of the brighter green, the darker, at the bottom of my bushes. And you know, that's doing kind of the same thing, isn't it? It's kind of grounding the bottom of my bushes, making it look like they're heavy and they're sitting on the ground. All right, now I want my little street sign to be green. I don't know why, but I just feel like it needs to be. So there it is. And I think that the globe, oh, we haven't used the turmeric yet. I'm going to make mine glow yellow. Oh, guys, look how beautiful that yellow is. Okay, new favorite. Got to use a lot of the yellow. Let's make the pole yellow too. I was looking for a brown, but I'm in love with that yellow. Look at that. Now, I remember these things were blue. I thought, no, maybe they were green. But we don't have to make them any color we want. We can make, any color in particular. We can make them any color we want. So I'm coming in and making that yellow. Oh, and I'm going to skip one for balance. You guys know how sometimes you want, if you do something to the right, you might want to do a little bit to the left to let it balance. I think this will balance nicely if I put some of that up there. I like to work in odd numbers too. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't that look pretty? But I love this yellow so much, I'm going to go some more. Oh, there's 4. I'm going to make this part yellow too, whatever that is. Oh, and look here, I'm going to balance it right there. Because remember when we made that stacked cake? So that, and let's put this right here yellow too. That's fun. How about these little guys? Let's make those yellow. And how about these guys? Remember those? You guys, I think the turmeric, I think it's called turmeric. Look how well it stains. It really mixed beautifully with our water, didn't it? I'm going to put a little more here. Oh, I just can't stop with this yellow. I hope you guys will forgive me. I think it's my favorite. I can't wait to see what your favorite is. I'm going to put some right here. I'm just trying to balance a little color around. That looks good. And let's put some inside that little triangle, and let's put some, I'm just going to put it right across here. I'm going to try to speed along so I don't bore you guys to death here while you're trying to watch me, because it's more fun to do it yourself, isn't it? And watch some crazy teacher do it. Look what I just found. I missed a spot when I was doing my brick colored. So I'm going to come in here and get a little bit. This one little bit right there got missed. I'm going to put it right there. Okay. You see how it bled down into the yellow? But I don't care. It's going to be fun. I'll put a little bit more of that paprika. Let's see. Is that it? Let's put a little more paprika up here. And then I think it's time to go around with the really bright, crazy colors. So let's see what oh, you know what else I should do? Let's try it with a Q-tip in case you don't have a paintbrush. Let's start painting with a Q-tip and see how that works. It's working all right, isn't it? We can come up with all kinds of ideas to make our paintings work, can't we? Let's make this one blue. There. Oh, I like that. Let's make a stripe. Let's make a stripe. You know what? Let's make this row blue. I'm going to make that triangle blue. Oh, you know what I remember when I was looking at everything? I'm going to turn it over and use the green. These were red and white stripes, I think, when I was looking at the original. So I'm just going to go red and white stripes. Dot. Dot. Look, mine looks pretty light. I must have used more water in the red. Do you want your red, your food coloring colors to be really bright? Just don't use much water. And if you happen to have the ones that are the liquid kind, oops, I stuck to it. If you happen to have the liquid kinds like this, you don't even have to water them down at all. You can just use them as is, you know. I'm going to put a little red there. Look, I'm letting it bleed into the yellow a little, but that's okay. And, ooh, how about this, guys? Now you could also make it red and white, or red and another color if you want. Red up there. You know what? I think some green on top might be pretty. I'm going to switch back to my brush and I'm going to put green on top of that building. And I'm going to make this little dot green. I'm going to put green there just to kind of balance it around. I think I'm about done, you guys. I'm just adding some colors, making it pretty. You guys do whatever you want with yours. I'll put a little green in there. Let's see. Oh, green might be pretty there. I'm liking it. What color do we need next? I think we could use a little more. Oh, we forgot the purple. Perfect. And we've got just a few spots left. So ooh, that's dark. Remember how we how that one was kind of dried up in the little container? And I didn't add much water either, but doesn't that look good? Right like that. We'll put some in here. I like that purpley color. That looks good. Let's put some across here. Now you know what? I'd already finished this guy, but not that. We can put a little purple there. Let's see, how about some right there? Now you know if you don't want your colors to bleed, like mine are kind of bleeding into each other, you guys remember that when you paint with watercolor, if you really want a nice firm edge, one that doesn't bleed into his neighbors, then you will want to wait and let your layers dry in between. Look, I just put some wet on that one for fun. Did we get everything? Let's do that line. Whee! Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm kind of thinking I want to do a little stripe. I'm gonna put a little stripe on my street lamp because that had already dried some, hadn't it? Have we got everything that we want? I left a few spots white because I wanted some white spots. Oh, look, I got his neighbor's green. I should probably get this little guy green too, shouldn't I? Let's put a little green right there. I think I'm going to leave the rest white, you guys. Well, I think that here's St. Basil's Cathedral. Here is my version painted with spices and food coloring. And who knew? Who knew that we could have so much fun with what is just in our kitchen cabinets? So, I hope you had fun today. I can't wait to see what you have done. Remember, be sure to send me an email if you guys want to vote for what will be our next, next Thursday we're doing self-portraits because we already had a lot of votes for that. But the Thursday after that, I'm still taking votes. So feel free to come on in and let me know what you might like. And let me know how yours turned out. Remember, keep drawing.